Alright guys, back with another ranking. I'm here to rank the 6 Jurassic Park / Jurassic World movies from worst to best. So here's my ranking from 6 to 1. Coming in at last, Jurassic World Dominion. This movie was absolutely fucking brutal. There's almost nothing positive to say about it. The fact that they brought back the original 3 from Jurassic Park and it still was terrible is probably just the icing on the cake of why it's number 6. It really reminds me of Rise of Skywalker in terms of just capping off a terrible sequel trilogy, but I think it's actually worse because this is an easier movie to perfect. The fact that they brought them back and still missed was the tiebreaker to make this number 6. Just totally disappointing. I was expecting a mediocre, nostalgia-baity movie, and I still was underwhelmed with what I got. This movie is about cloning, it's about locusts, it just is totally off the rails, it made no sense, terrible movie. Coming in at number 5, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Not the worst movie I've ever seen, but again, mediocre. Just not doing anything new, not bringing anything new to the table. Didn't really get into anything interesting after the first movie. Not a memorable movie, just kind of sandwiched in between kind of the good one and the bad one. So nothing really to say here other than a mediocre dinosaur movie. Coming in at number 4, Jurassic Park 3. This movie was pretty solid, better than the previous 2 I mentioned, but I think easily the worst, not easily, but the worst out of the original 3. They kind of were running out of juice at this point. They were lost again on this island. It was kind of ridiculous, looking for this kid's son. So it's a watchable movie, but again, nothing really memorable, other than having William H. Macy and kind of the original guy from the first movie. Coming in at number 3, Jurassic World. The reboot to the franchise, I thought this movie was pretty solid. I was thinking of putting it number 2, but I guess the nostalgia factor from the earlier movies got me. A solid performance by Chris Pratt. It's a good movie overall, it just could have been better. I feel like this could have been, I don't want to say like Dark Knight, but if they just had an interesting plot, made it a little bit better, kind of, how, Dark Knight brought Batman from the 90s movies and made it serious, they could have took the Jurassic movies from, the 90s, early 2000s and made it serious too. But it was cool to see the park finally functioning. I thought that was the coolest part of the movie. I thought that was the best concept, finally seeing the park that we never saw in the original movies. So a solid movie and definitely the best of the new ones. Number 2, Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Honestly, the tiebreaker was probably getting Jeff Goldblum in this movie. The dinosaurs getting lost on mainland at the end of the movie was kind of cool. Not even close to as good as the original movie, but a solid movie. The scene where they run into the tall grass, I think, is hilarious when they run and yell "not into the high grass." So it's a good action. The scene where the truck is kind of suspended off the cliff. You get Vince Vaughn in the beginning of his career. So a solid movie. I can understand putting Jurassic World above this movie because it might technically be a better movie, but I think this captures more of the original juice. Less CGI, more animatronics. So that's why it's. And coming in at number 1, no surprise here, Jurassic Park. I think this is undebatable. I think it's a fact. It's by far the best movie in the franchise. Arguably one of Spielberg's best movie, one of the most impactful movies of all time. One of the kind of most surprising theatrical experiences. A lot of people didn't realize what they were going to get in the movie, and then they came in. They weren't expecting dinosaurs like that. Nothing like that has ever really been done in theaters before. It also, sparked this huge interest in dinosaurs, archaeology, all that stuff. So yeah, just a really, really cool movie. Arguably in my top 10 ever. It's approaching it. I don't know if it'll reach it. Eventually I'll make that list. But one of Spielberg's best movies, a lot of memorable lines. It's now become memeable, gifable, however you pronounce it. And yeah, favorite parts of the movie is obviously the T-Rex, the water going on the thing when he comes closer. Not that many weak parts of the movie. You get Samuel Jackson, you get Newman from Seinfeld. I always loved the Barbasol can where they keep the DNA when Newman steals it. I always thought that was really cool. It's scary enough, but it's not too scary. So again, I think really one of the classic American movies, one of Spielberg's best movies. So that is my Jurassic Park rankings from 6 to 1. Let me know if you disagree. I don't really think I had that many hot takes. The only hot take I think you can have is not putting Jurassic Park 1. I'll accept anything else, but putting Jurassic Park anywhere but 1, I think is blasphemy. Those are my rankings, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.